Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Prep Huddle Live here on StrivSports.com. It's hard to believe that the winter sports season is here. As nice as the weather was in November, now we've turned to December and, well, it's pretty well cold or snowing probably wherever you might be watching us today. The winter sports season, obviously, going into it hot and heavy now. A great show, as always, lined up with our guests joining us on the Truck Center Company's hotline for great career opportunities. You can log on to dieseltex.com. Don't forget that today is a special day as well, because with the Christmas season coming up, we are giving away Striv t-shirts to those that tweet us during the live show. So after the fact, when we got the recording up, that doesn't work. But we can, if you take your tweet with the hashtag PrepHuddleLive during the live show, we'll message you back, get your t-shirt size, and get you all those set up. So we can have Facebook comments in there as well. Why not? So hashtag, though, whatever you might be doing this, for Prep Huddle Live, and we'll get you set up with a Striv t-shirt. Our guest today, like we said, on the Truck Center Company's hotline, we will get to the end of the night for Rob Sanders with AnyWrestle.com, Scott Kraus, the girls basketball coach at Friend, and first up is Matt Shelsta. He is the boys basketball coach at Elmwood-Murdock, and he joins us now. Coach, 2-0 after a couple wins to start the season over UTAN and Lourdes Central Catholic, couple of ranked teams. Lourdes, the defending D1 champs. Talk about the way the guys have played through 2 games so far this year.
Well, first, we're very fortunate to be where we're at with record-wise. You could easily go into that Lourdes Booster Club tournament and end 0-2 and still be a real good team. So we're very fortunate with how we played, even though we didn't play up to our standard, we don't think. But I thought the guys really fought, knowing that you had to go into 2 very tough teams, whoever you played on Saturday, and really stuck it out. And they really played hard, played well at times, but we know that we can get better. And that's kind of our motto every week, every year, is that we want to improve. It's not about the wins and losses. We think that if we continue to improve with what we're doing individually and as a team, that wins will take care of themselves.
You guys were runners-up to St. Cecilia last year in C2. You had that great memorable win over Winnebago in the semifinals. How did the off-season transpire after the way the season ended last year for you guys?
Well, it was a great moment, and we have people that continue to talk about that moment, and it was. I don't want to make light of anything, but we're not really worried about wins and losses. Yeah, we try hard to win games, but that's not our main focus. We're trying to raise young men that are going to be good people in society, that are going to be good brothers, that are going to be good husbands. And if we can win some basketball games on the way, that's great. Now, we're very blessed and fortunate to have very good talent and athletes that want to work, that want to get better. And last year was just kind of a culmination of 2 years of hard work, and it kind of propelled us into this year. But this off season was it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of smiles, obviously, but we know that the road is not easy. We know that our mission is not complete until we hopefully get a chance to the state championship. But there's only one way to do that, and that's to get to the state tournament. And we know we got to take care of business every single week at practice and during games. But and then hopefully we have our guys healthy. And you got to be kind of lucky a little bit where you got to stay healthy and you got to play good basketball at the right time.
Introduce us to the guys that are making up the squad this year that are going to make the biggest contributions for you.
Well, we had 2 returning big-time minute guys from last year. It was Brady Dreamer, is a 6'5" senior. He's probably our team captain if we had captains. We don't do captains. It's kind of a all-together team thing. And then Zach Rust is a junior, and he was all tourney team last year. He had a kind of coming out party during the state tournament, and we knew he was a really good player and still is a good player, and we're looking to those guys to be leaders. We're also starting 2 new seniors, Derek Bornemeyer and Cole Eggert, new to the starting scene, but they're quality guards that we trust completely, and we like the way they play. And then we have Wes Dreamer, who is Brady's little brother and a sophomore. He's about 6'4", and just a pretty good athlete, a 6'4" kid who can play in the post and play out on the perimeter. So we're blessed with some talent and some really young guys that can really play well. We just hopefully we develop them accordingly and not screw them up too bad.
Well, that kind of threw me off there a little bit there. So as you go through practices and you go through games, what are some of the things that you as coaches try to instill on the guys that you hope shows up on game night specifically?
Well, right now it's toughness. It's toughness. We're trying to figure out an identity for who we are. We think we have an idea of who we want to be, but it's going to be a lot of tough practices. It's going to be a lot of mistakes getting on the kids to bring out that toughness. Last year we had some guys that played football on our team, and this year we don't. We don't have a lot of guys that play football on our basketball team, and it kind of shows. And we know that that's something that we have to bring out. And while our practices are, even though they're very competitive, they need to be a little bit tougher. And we're going to have teams, with our ranking coming out preseason, we know that you're gonna have everybody wanting to get you every single week, and so you can't take a break, you can't relax, you can't take it easy. Now with that, we talk about expectations in our practice too, and we kind of hope and think that nobody's going to have higher expectations than us. Even the rankings, even the papers, even our families, even the schools, we think we have the highest expectations of our team, and hopefully that'll propel us.
Should be a lot of fun to watch you guys throughout the rest of the season. Elmwood-Murdock boys coach Matt Shelsta, thanks a lot for joining us today, and best of luck to you and the guys the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
Folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we go to the girls basketball scene. We'll check in with Class D1 number 1 Friend and Coach Scott Kraus. That's coming up next.
Trucking industry gives you a lot of opportunity for careers because there's such a wide, vast list of possibilities and areas that you can go into. As technicians, these trucks are as advanced as cars are today, so we need technicians that can work on them and understand how to work a computer system and get them up and running so the customer can make money. These trucks are workhorses, but they're built for comfort and they're easy to drive. Freightliner builds these trucks for drivers' wants and customers' needs.
Yeah, I get it. For the little things. Technology's great. It makes things easier. It's faster. We can get things done wherever we go. And we get all that from our bank. It works for us. But for the bigger things, the things that really count, I still want to talk to the people I know and trust. That's why I'm here.
Home-cooked favorites and online ordering so you can skip the line. That's what you'll find at Dickey's Barbecue in York. Log on to Dickeys.com, select the York address, sign in, or create a profile, and you'll be ordering delicious barbecue in just seconds. Choose from a variety of meats like brisket, pulled pork, chicken breast, or sausage. Add a home-style side like waffle iron fries, fried onion tanglers, barbecue beans, and even fried okra. You won't go away hungry. Try Dickey's Barbecue today and log on to Dickeys.com. Kids eat free on Sundays.
Hey, what's going on?
Just checking the fields. Yours are looking pretty good. Must be doing something right.
Actually, I got a guy.
You got a guy.
Well, it's not just any guy. I got a channel seedsman.
Channel, yeah?
Yeah, I've been working with him pretty close to get, well, you can see for yourself. This is what I'd recommend. Let's get to work. this is what you want to see.
Maybe I should get a guide.
Maybe you should get a channel seedsman.
Find your channel seedsman at channel.com.
Nova Fitness Equipment of Omaha has provided the very best weight room, track and field, and sports surfacing products for over 30 years in Nebraska. They provide Cybex, Matrix Fitness, Vertimax, Tough Stuff, Pro Elite, Stairmaster, York Barbell, Troy Barbell, and UCS track and performance products. From rubber flooring, strength equipment, cardio products, and sports performance accessories, Nova Fitness Equipment has what you need to make your athletic program successful. Contact Nova Fitness Equipment today at their home office in Omaha or online at novafitnessequipment.com.
Welcome back to Prep Huddle Live here on StrivSports.com. Joining us now on the Truck Center Company's hotline is the girls basketball coach at Friend. They are the top-ranked team in Class D1, Scott Kraus. And first of all, Coach, thanks a lot for coming on. It's always a fun time to get the season going. So, but before we get too far into this season, we kind of want to do a little revisit from last year. It was a heartbreaking game to lose in the first round of state last year to Kennesaw. But you had so many girls coming back from the team from last year. How did that loss at state with the expectations maybe they had going into that tournament, how did that impact what they did and how they did it in the offseason?
Well, coming off that game, I knew we would be a little bit quicker defensively this season. So that was, a little bit of a plus. I knew we were losing some size, some inside scoring as well. So, kind of comes some pluses and negatives there. But, I was pretty positive this summer. I felt like defensively we could bother a lot of teams, being a little bit quicker and, really, bothering the ball handlers and really driving some people crazy that way. So, just looked at it that way. And we have a lot of options. We've got about 4 girls that are kind of fighting for 2 positions. We haven't really found maybe our best starting 5 yet. We've kind of mixed some girls around these first 3 games here, and trying to get some of those wrinkles ironed out. And I think we're taking those steps and we're moving forward. We're looking pretty good at times, and we're finding out maybe who our starters and who our top 7 or top 8 are going to be.
How important is that in December to kind of go through, not necessarily a learning curve, but to a certain extent it is, to go through that in December so that hopefully January and February and ultimately the goal of March is a little smoother for you?
Well, it's real important. We're going to be tested here on Friday with Sacred Heart, and it's real important, to kind of iron these things out early. So as we build into, January and February, we're fine tuning things rather than, putting a person in a spot and seeing how that goes. So we did a little bit of that this summer, but we're still doing it right now, and we've got a pretty good. We're narrowing down each game. We're narrowing them down. Who fits what, which group the best. And, it's just real important we get that narrowed down. The sooner the better for us, so, we can kind of get in our rhythm and stay in that rhythm for the rest of the season.
And we've talked pretty general so far about the team, but you've got one of the best small school scorers in the state in Raleigh Mankey. What does she bring to the team beyond just her ability to score?
Just the attention of other teams' defenses. We've already faced a couple boxing ones this year, and we were prepared for that. I kind of figured some teams would do that to us this year, and so it prepares the other girls to get ready to shoot the ball and to be an offensive threat. And we've talked about that this summer and early this year to kind of with our starters to see who fills those roles. So Rayleigh is a great player. Not only on the offensive end, on the defensive end as well. She can, with her size and quickness, she's kind of a mismatch against a post. So I can use her in a lot of different ways, not just on the offense, but on the defensive end as well.
And then obviously beyond Rayleigh, the other girls, like you said, have kind of started to get into some different roles. You return a point guard. You return actually a lot of the starters. So who are the other girls that are going to be key contributors down the stretch for you?
Well, Claire Kubicek, bringing the ball down for us, has had 3 really nice games. She kind of struggled a little bit with her shot last year. And this year she's found more of an offensive groove. She's been real steady defensively for us, for me, for the past couple seasons. Brooke Baugh, again, has been solid for us for three games this year, and real solid last year. Bridget Baugh is a sophomore. Her Brooke's cousin has really got a lot of time last year as a freshman, and she's stepped up into one of those starting roles. She's a great defensive player, maybe one of our best. You could probably challenge Rayleigh as maybe one of our better defenders. And offensively, she's finding her groove with some hustle plays and getting down the court and finding some easy baskets. Madison Zumpf is going to play some crucial minutes for us. She's a undersized post player, but she plays like she's 5'10". Does a lot of things. She finds the ball really well on defense and gets a lot of jump balls. If she's just got a nose for it, if you bring it down to her level, she's going to get it from you. Just a great energy player. And Isabel Eberspacher, a senior for us, is a great hustle player. She's a very good defender. We've kind of moved her around a little bit and tried to find what fits best for her as far as offensively and defensively. But she's gonna play some big time minutes for us this year as well.
And then, Coach, as you get through the season, you get kind of into it. Another good test, like you said, coming up on Friday with Sacred Heart. Where do you hope to see your team grow the most over the course of the season?
I would hope that defensively we maybe grow the most. Just watching us the last couple games, we haven't played the best defense for 4 quarters, and that's okay. We put together two here and 2 there, or 1 here and 1 there. So defensively, I think we have more room to grow. Offensively, I think we can grow a little bit there too as players get more into their role, and we got some other shooters on the bench that can come in and help us out for a little bit too and give us some time. So, but I think defensively is got to be our biggest growth spurt from now until anywhere till the end of the season. It's got to be our defense.
Well, it should be a lot of fun to watch you and the girls throughout the course of the season, and I'm sure we will talk again as the postseason looms. That is friend girls coach Scott Kraus. Thanks for joining us today on Prep Huddle Live.
Thank you.
Stay tuned with us, folks. We will be back. We've got some wrestling talk coming up next. Stick around.
Yeah, I get it. For the little things. Technology's great. It makes things easier. It's faster. We can get things done wherever we go. And we get all that from our bank. It works for us. But for the bigger things, the things that really count, I still want to talk to the people I know and trust. That's why I'm here.
Home-cooked favorites and online ordering so you can skip the line. That's what you'll find at Dickey's Barbecue in York. Log on to Dickies.com, select the York address, sign in, or create a profile, and you'll be ordering delicious barbecue in just seconds. Choose from a variety of meats like brisket, pulled pork, chicken breast, or sausage. Add a home-style side like waffle iron fries, fried onion tanglers, barbecue beans, and even fried okra. You won't go away hungry. Try Dickey's Barbecue today and log on to Dickies.com. Kids eat free on Sundays.
Hey, what's going on?
Just checking the fields. Yours are looking pretty good. Must be doing something right.
Actually, I got a guy.
You got a guy?
Well, it's not just any guy. I got a channel seedsman.
Channel, yeah?
Yeah, I've been working with him pretty close to get, well, you can see for yourself. This is what I'd recommend. Let's get to work. Now this is what you want to see.
Maybe I should get a guy.
Maybe you should get a channel seedsman.
Find your channel seedsman at channel.com.
Nova Fitness Equipment of Omaha has provided the very best weight room, track and field, and sports surfacing products for over 30 years in Nebraska. They provide Cybex, Matrix Fitness, Vertimax, Tough Stuff, Pro Elite, Stairmaster, York Barbell, Troy Barbell, and UCS track and performance products. From rubber flooring, strength equipment, cardio products, and sports performance accessories, Nova Fitness Equipment has what you need to make your athletic program successful. Contact Nova Fitness Equipment today at their home office in Omaha or online at novafitnessequipment.com.
Trucking industry gives you a lot of opportunity for careers because there's such a wide, vast list of possibilities and areas that you can go into. As technicians, these trucks are as advanced as cars are today, so we need technicians that can work on them and understand how to work the computer system and get them up and running so the customer can make money. These trucks are workhorses, but they're built for comfort and they're easy to drive. Freightliner builds these trucks for drivers' wants and customers' needs.
Welcome back to Prep Huddle Live here on StrivSports.com. Social media is the place to be for us. Facebook, Twitter, Striv Sports, Striv TV, all of that fun stuff. Don't forget to find us on Instagram on Striv TV and on Snapchat, Striv TV as well. So lots of fun stuff. Snapchat, wherever we might be heading off, might be a school visit, might be a game performance or whatever it might be. Snapchat usually gives you a little behind the scenes of what goes on here with Striv. Now, as we continue on with the show for Prep Huddle Live, we are very excited to bring in Rob Sanders, former Husker wrestler, now contributor to NEWrestle.com. Rob, thanks a lot for joining us on the show today.
Definitely. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be talking to you guys.
You got a great background in helping grow the sport of wrestling, and it's for the diehards. It is the thing of beauty, and so there's always a chance to kind of promote a little bit more and get those names and faces out there a little bit, because sometimes the basketball teams tend to dominate the initial conversations of high school sports, but there are some really good individual wrestlers amongst our Striv schools, and I was wondering if you could kind of give us some of those names to watch as we get into the seasons. And obviously wrestling is kind of a year-round thing anymore, but as the high school season really gets into swing, who are some of the names that you will keep an eye on, and hopefully we will keep an eye on as well throughout the rest of the season?
So starting out in Class A, Kearney's got a handful of guys who are going to be right there in their individual weight classes to win a state title. At 120 pounds, Philip Mooney, he was a Greco All-American at Fargo this past summer, and he actually spent 11 days in Estonia and won a big freestyle and Greco tournament. So he won an international tournament, and he's a pretty unique kid. He puts in a lot of time, and in his fall semester, he put in he took a really heavy load of classes so he could have this spring to train and do a lot of these traveling trips. So along with him, there's heavyweight Lee Harrington, who was last year, I believe, 5th as a sophomore at heavyweight, and he put in, I believe, over 100 matches this summer. He was really close to placing at Fargo, and just a kid who's like Mooney, who trains all year round. Harrington's a football star and just really impressive, very coachable. And then moving on to Millard West, they've got a returning state champion, Jack Huffman, who beat a returning state champion last year as a sophomore to win the 113-pound state title. And it's undecided with the Millard West lineup whether he's going to go 120 or 126. They've got a pretty solid lineup from 113 to 126 with Cole Zebley at 13, and then either Camden Russell and Jack Huffman at 2026, so we can see them flop throughout the year. They've also got a former state runner-up who's wrestling 195 this year, up from 170. His name is Doug Lauder. And then they've got a returning fourth placer. That would be Camden Russell. And then with Omaha Central, they've got three guys who are really big point scorers that provide them some firepower. So incoming freshman at 106, Emilio Haynes. Like Mooney, he's done really well in freestyle and Greco, so he can attack the legs with double legs, or if he gets a hold of your body or your arms, he can have some big high amplitude throws. And he's got an older brother, Eron Haynes, who's a senior. He was a state placer last year and a very exciting wrestler as well. And they also get Dax Galloway back. Didn't compete in the postseason last year because of an injury, but he's very similar to those guys, quick, explosive, and can attack the body for throws and then also the legs. And moving on to Class B, we've got Joe Ritson from Chadron, who was a state runner-up at 126 last year. He's moving up to 132, and he committed to wrestle for Chadron State College after he graduates from high school this year. And he was in a really tough weight class with 126 last year, where the Western District B4 had 3 out of the 4 semifinalists. So they only have, each district gets 4 qualifiers, and 3 of their qualifiers were in the state semifinals. So, and the weight class he's moving up to, 132, is going to be really tough. 126 and 132 are both really tough in Class B this year. We could see a lot of movement. We could see guys from 120 moving up to 126. Could see 26 moving up to 32, just all over the place. And then another Striv school, Fairbury, they're a team who just in the last 5 years has made a huge jump in getting more wrestlers to qualify for states, getting some state placers along the way. And I was talking to their coach, Coach Garfield, a couple weeks ago, and he was saying that in Fairbury, there's never been a wrestling town. And so they're doing the best they can to try and do that. And they actually had, for their first practice, they put wrestling mats down on the football field and they practiced outside, and it was sunny, and they got a pretty good crowd there. And so they're doing a lot to grow the sport in their town. And they've got from a 152 up to heavyweight, they've got a guy who could be a state placer at just about every weight there. Moving on to Class B, last year we had Valentine, who's a state runner-up, and this year it looks like they've got the firepower and the depth. Right now, from all the coaches I've talked to in Class C, they say Valentine's the favorite right now. So they've got a former state champion, Jordan Kelber, who's, I believe, at 126 this year. And they've got a lot of other returning state placers, a couple guys who were out with injuries last year. And the returning state champion team, David City, they returned 1 state champion. And although they graduated 2 state champions, a runner-up, and 3 other placers from last year's season, they're doing a great job of reloading, because they've got a great wrestling club, just kind of a farm system going on that leads from their youth to their middle school to their high school. And their state champion that they're returning is Melvin Hernandez, and he's a kid who wrestled at AAU national duels in Florida. He wrestled at junior duels for Nebraska USA Wrestling in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he also, while he was doing that, he got his CNA so he could make some money, and he's got big goals to wrestle in college, but also he wants to become a doctor or something in the medical field. So he's a junior right now and got a big, bright future ahead of him. David City also has a couple of other guys who were in the starting lineup last year, but were wrestling up a couple of weights because they could beat the 2 state champions, Trent Darrow and Wyatt Phillips. So it's going to be impressive to see those guys, because they put in the work year-round, but also, like with Justin White, he was behind those 2 guys, so he had to wrestle up at 138, I believe. So this year, 126 is a more natural weight class for him, and kind of getting thrown to the wolves there, being up a couple weight classes, and fun. So he's going to be dishing out some more beatings this year. Then in Class D, you've got perennial powerhouse Amherst, who they've got a new coach, and I believe his name is Chase Klingelhofer. But right now they've got 3 guys who are ranked first in their weight class: Salvador Aguirre at 106, and Kalen Klingelhofer, and then Dane Bogard. So NE Russell, who just started putting out some rankings, and the first rankings of the year are always tough because there's always guys that are coming in late from football. Maybe their team made the semis or the state finals, and they're still figuring out their weight descent plan. And then also some guys are just figuring out who they feel like they can get a better shot at in winning weight classes. And team lineups are always trying to get the right guys, the right weights to make the team as solid as possible. And then another Class D Striv school friend, they graduated Zemwa Baptista, who's wrestling for Iowa State right now, but he's got a younger brother, Edwin Baptista, who didn't qualify for state last year, but this past weekend he beat a returning state finalist who was ranked. He beat him in the semis of the tournament, so expect big things from him also.
Rob, it's really interesting to go through the different individuals, and I want to get your thoughts on how much work a lot of these guys, for almost everyone that you just said, how much work they're putting in not just the summer, but even in the spring. Tell us a little bit about the competitions and opportunities for guys to get some wrestling after the high school season is done there in February. The spring is still very important for them as well.
Definitely. So after the high school season gets done, which is folk style, it shifts into freestyle and Greco-Roman. Those 2 styles are called the international styles, and they're in the Olympics. So Husker wrestler, Olympic champion Jordan Burroughs, he wrestles freestyle, and also former All-American for the Huskers, Rulon Gardner, who was an Olympic champion. Greco was his style. So Greco, you cannot attack the legs, and freestyle, just like the name says, free, you can attack all parts of the body. So that freestyle and Greco season goes from pretty much, some kids will take a week or 2 off after state and start training. So early March, they're getting after it again. And we're trying to get more freestyle and Greco-Roman tournaments here in Nebraska so we don't have to travel so far. But about in mid-April to early May is when tournaments start picking up. And then the second week of May, Nebraska USA Wrestling, they have their state tournament, and that's how kids can qualify to go wrestle at the junior duels, which is a big national dual tournament where you wrestle Greco for 2 days and then you wrestle freestyle for 2 days. So last year we took a team, and I believe they got 8th place in Greco, which was the highest we've ever placed. And big part of that is because of former so Zach Dominguez runs MWC Wrestling Academy in Omaha, and in 2004 he placed 3rd in the Olympic trials in Greco-Roman at 74 kilos, and so he's been a big influence in building the Greco side of our sports. And we've also got head coach Dalton Jensen out in Kearney, who runs the Golden Eagles Wrestling Club, and he was a Fargo national champion in Greco, and he's a big part of why Philip Mooney did so well this past year.
And Rob,
so
one more.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna jump in there a little bit actually to kind of parlay all of that information with the tournaments that we're going to kind of keep an eye on. The Flatwater Fracas, I know, is a big one coming up. What are some of the other tournaments or duels even across the state here before the Christmas break that are going to garner some attention?
So this Thursday we've got Kearney heading to Omaha Scott Catholic, and I'll actually be up there for that. There's going to be probably 7 or 8 weight classes that are going to be hotly contested. There's probably half of those 7 or 8 weight classes. Kearney is favored, and the other half Scott is favored, but both wrestlers from each team are going to they're going to fight, and both teams have a really good shot at winning state titles in their respective classes. So that's a big duel that's coming up this weekend. Also, this weekend in Council Bluffs is the Council Bluffs Classic. Matt Ryan, the assistant coach at Omaha Burke, puts that on, and they've got teams from Minnesota, Iowa. Actually, the number one recruit in the nation who's wrestling for Penn State right now from Minnesota, a guy by the name of Mark Hall. He was kind of the featured attraction there last year, but you'll see some guys that go on have an undefeated season in Nebraska, but then some of the really good kids will have a loss or two, and it'll come from this Council Bluffs Classic tournament this weekend. So I know somebody will be streaming the matches. I can't remember who's streaming it, but if you can make it in there to Council Bluffs, I believe it's at the Mid-America Center, that's going to be high-level wrestling.
Streaming athletics and activities online, it's something that's near and dear to our hearts. So we will try and find that for people as well. Rob, it's a long season. It's kind of a grind. So I'm sure we'll have many opportunities to talk throughout the season. So excited to be able to kind of follow along, and anywrestle.com as well. The website that you have a little part in there. Tell us all what we can find on that throughout the season.
So we do a weekend recap of each class. We try and do that earlier in the week, and then we've got rankings. We have some college content, some interviews here and there, and then eventually we're going to get to a podcast, try and do a weekly thing there. But right now it's just mostly high school stuff. We'll do articles here and there on just interesting stuff. I did a Kearney High invite preview last week, so try and do another one of those this week. But pretty lucky that I get to do a lot with wrestling, and I had a really good 8th grade English teacher who just made me excited about writing. So I'm thankful to have Any Wrestle to share some of my insight and things that I've learned from a lot of people.
The teachers keep teaching. The best teachers keep teaching us throughout our lives, I think. Rob Sanders, anywrestle.com. Excited to have him as one of our contributors as well, perhaps, throughout the season. Thanks a lot, Rob. We'll talk to you again soon.
You're welcome. Thanks again, Eric.
All right, folks, that's just about it for our Prep Huddle Live show for today, but we would be very remiss if we did not mention a few of the top games that are coming up on the Striv network over the next week or so. And I only got to Saturday for me to find a Striv 5 that's a great one here. So some games coming up tomorrow. In fact, we'll start with the boys basketball side. Omaha South is at Millard West. Of course, both teams in the state tournament a year ago. Omaha South, your defending champions. Millard West escapes with an opening night victory last week. So check them out on the Millard West Striv channel. Go to C1/C2, where you've got Southern Valley at Gothenburg. A chance to watch the Eagles and the Swedes, a good one out there in the western Nebraska. And then if you want to go small school, again, all three of these are tomorrow night. Humphrey St. Francis goes to Riverside to take on the Chargers. It should be a lot of fun. Of course, that was a semifinal matchup last year that St. Francis got a buzzer beater to win the game over Riverside and get into the state championship. So 3 great games amongst a multitude of games coming up tomorrow night. Millard West, Gothenburg, and Riverside, the channels to watch. And then some girls' games as we get towards the weekend. On Friday, we heard from Coach Scott Kraus, actually. Fall City Sacred Heart is at Friend on Friday night, and then a really interesting one Saturday afternoon. I think it's a 2:30 tip-off for Minden at Aurora. The Minden girls, they've had so much talent come through there. The latest Kissinger is I think she scored 35 in her first game last week, playing a ranked Class B team on the road. So that will be a lot of fun. Minden at Aurora as one of our Strive 5 games as well. So look for that post on Strive Sports as we get to tomorrow and the full list of games. That is what we're going to have for today for you. For Prep Huddle Live, though, a new setup for us today. Thanks to our coaches, Matt Shelsta with Elmwood-Murdock and Scott Kraus with Friend, and then, of course, with Rob Sanders of AnyWrestle.com and for their insights and notes and tips. We'd love getting that, especially early in the season, so that we can kind of follow along as best we can. And we hope you'll follow along with us next week as well on Prep Huddle Live here on StrivSports.com. For Taylor, Austin, I'm Eric. Thanks for watching.